How did Jesus equip his disciples for ministry? Well, Jesus called his disciples who were following him, and he said, "Follow me and fish for man." And there's a beautiful um, incident in Luke chapter 5 where um, Peter and the disciples have been out fishing all night and they haven't caught anything. And Jesus is coming along the shore. A crowd have gathered. Perhaps they're there because they're wanting to purchase the morning fish, the morning catch. They're there for the food for the day, but they're going to be disappointed because there isn't any morning catch. These guys haven't caught anything. But Jesus come along and he's going to teach. And he says to Peter, push your boat out into the deep waters and drop your nets. And Peter is, he's cleaning his nets, he's mending his nets, and maybe he's a little weary from the night of fruitless fishing. Um, but because it's Jesus, and Jesus is asking him to do it, he makes himself available. And he pushes the boat out. And of course, we know that there's a miraculous catch of fish, more fish than the boats were maybe even able to accommodate. It's as though they're going to get swamped. Um, and Peter is reminded of the deficiencies of his own life. See, Peter's been following Jesus, but somehow he's gone back to fishing. And Jesus is calling him to a deeper level of commitment. He's saying, "Follow me, Peter, and fish for man." And that passage in the gospel ends with Peter leaving everything and following after Jesus. He leaves his boat, he leaves his fishing nets, and he follows after Jesus. I think he realizes that, Jesus is calling me into this lifestyle of ministry with him to do what he does. And I think Peter realizes, well, Jesus is going to take care of me. If he can do this with fish, wow, just think about what he can do with people. And in that passage of Scripture in Luke chapter 5, we kind of see the availability of Peter. We see his responsiveness to Jesus' call. Um, we see his teachability as well. I mean, he's a fisherman. He knows that you don't catch fish in deep water in broad daylight. He knows that's not how you go about it. Maybe he's thinking, Jesus, you're a carpenter. Like, what do you know about fishing? Leave the fishing up to me. And maybe he's realizing, well, I have empty nets. I'm not so smart about this either. But it's because it's you, Jesus, because you're the teacher, you're the rabbi. I'll do what you say. So he's responsive to Jesus' instruction. He's teachable. When Jesus tells him to do it, he's willing to do it. And he's faithful, to Jesus' instructions and Jesus' directions. So there are qualities that you can kind of see in this little passage of Scripture: faithfulness, availability, teachability, responsiveness, that are also kind of those things that we should be looking for in those young people who are popping, like popcorn. And then Jesus takes his disciples with him, and he engages them in ministry. Right after that, they go on little excursions, little mission trips, little fishing trips, where Jesus teaches and Jesus heals, and Jesus involves them in this ministry. Essentially, he's modeling what he's ultimately calling them to do. And I think for us in ministry, then, as we think about that in youth ministry context, as leaders, we're wanting to model these disciple-making priorities before young people, but we're also wanting to involve them in that, to engage them in that work as well, give them opportunities to serve, give them opportunities to join us in that. And it's essentially a life-on-life process. Jesus is imparting his life to them. There's not a snappy formula for that. There's not a cool, curriculum that you kind of pull off the shelf and employ. It's life on life. It's Jesus rubbing off on his disciples. It's spending time with them, showing them what to do. He's saying, "Hey, watch me do this. And, we're going to do this together. And then I'm going to send you, and you're going to do